to tell us who Mike Mangena is. Edwin, it's no mistake that Mike Mangena moves from being a football great to being a sports commentator, because he was really a hero back in the days when he used to play football. Tell us about, just briefly, his football career.
Well, he started with Kaizer Chiefs B. So, you know, he's born in Soweto in Shawela. And in Soweto, you've only got two clubs. You choose black and gold, or you choose black and white. And he started with Kaizer Chiefs B. In the 80s, you know, you had teams like Wits University that were predominantly white, Highlands Park. He actually became famous for turning out for Wits University because he was one of a handful of players, black players, who were playing in this predominantly white football club. That's where he made his name. Of course, subsequently moved on to Moroka Swallows. We mention now that he's a former Kaizer Chiefs player because he started at Chiefs and then he ended at Kaizer Chiefs in 1990.
And back in those days, Edwin, once a local player moves internationally, that's a massive, massive achievement for him. So he moves then from South Africa in 1984 to Watford, where he plays alongside the likes of John Barnes, for example.
Yes, and it was very rare, you know, in those days. You know, I mean, we were in the midst of apartheid in South Africa. You only had the likes of Jomo and Kaizer Motaung turning out for clubs in America. And Mike Mangena was one of the players who managed to get himself a contract in the UK, turning out for Watford, as you say, and rubbing shoulders with all these famous football players in the English First Division.
Edwin, let's then fast forward to where he finds himself now. In August, reports emerged that he was dragged to the maintenance court for allegedly refusing to pay for his love child that he made with a 23-year-old. And then this issue now, he's arrested for drugs being found on his property. Does this surprise us where he finds himself? And are there any other examples of football greats self-destructing?
With Mike Mangena in particular, it is surprising to me because you know, he's a businessman. He had an estate agent company. He was a very popular football commentator after his playing days with the public broadcaster. You've seen so many football players in South Africa, and it's an issue that hasn't been settled, of these heroes, these entertainers who pack stadiums week in, week out. When they retire with nothing. They haven't looked after their, you know, their finances. Some have managed to, you know, get back to their feet. Somebody like Jabu Pule, for instance, who ended up in trouble. He's been able to turn his life around. Another hero, Teenage Dladla, he actually, I don't know now, but he eventually worked as a fireman in Ekurhuleni. But then you have other players like Lebu Murula, who is just immersed in a life of crime. I mean, he was arrested for trying to hijack a truck in Mpumalanga. He was involved in cash heists. Now,
and you have Max Maponyane, that embarrassing episode around him,
yes,
allegedly beating up his
wife.
So
that's a broader picture. Then you come to this incident with Mike Mangena. I mean, it's shocking in a sense that here you are seeing a football hero allegedly manufacturing drugs. We know the scourge of drugs in the country. And when I heard about this story, I thought, oh, maybe it's one or two packets of Mandrax or, you know, plastic bag of
when you see those images, you really get to understand that this was a factory of some sort.
This is a huge truck with chemicals that you know, police allege. They're still going to test and see what sort of chemicals are in that tanker. And you see all this paraphernalia that is being used to manufacture Mandrax, and then you realize what a big operation this is. That's the surprising thing for me. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to hear that one or two football, because we're all human. We were talking about it in the newsroom yesterday to say, do we elevate certain people because of their status in society, because of having played football, that he's supposed to be at a certain level. But ultimately, we are all human and we all make mistakes. But this is a serious mistake if it's true.
Yeah, and it's certainly a story that we are going to continue following. Thank you very much, Edwin Khaswe.